welcome to another episode of Gardener Gone Wild. Now this episode is a little bit different as the wild gardener, Salem, is taking off into the bushes and he's going to go right up those hills and really far away. Now me, I'm taking a more sedate trail and going to do the treasure trail at Otari-Wilton's bush. Now I am the not so wild gardener, also known as Productions, so I'm going to head off and find my way to the first station of the treasure trail. Okay, see you there. Right, I'm about to get to our first station or post and we are making our way to the fernery. And as you can see, there are a lot of tree ferns and a lovely canopy of tawa. Now, here's a lovely tree fern, and if you notice, the frond stalks are black. So they look really neat. Now their name is Mamaku, and that is a beauty that we see before us. And there's lots more gorgeous specimens. Now I would love to have some of these in my backyard, but I think the chickens would make a wonderful meal of them. But they are looking stunning. Oh, just look at that. And see if we can get a close-up. Look at all of those down there. Amazing. And of course a lovely canopy of tawa. Right, I am going to head off to post number 2. And here is post number 2. Right, this lovely specimen of fernery is a Fred fern. Now this is climbing up this dead trunk. I think it should be a tawa, and not so dead maybe, but yeah, I think it would be. But as you see with this fern, it starts as very small fronds on the forest floor, and then it spreads out looking for a tree trunk, and the small roots, don't know if we can see them, attach to the trunk, and the fern begins to climb, and boy do they ever. And then the fronds of the fern get bigger and bigger. So they climb to about 2 meters high, and no, they're looking pretty good. And so they produce thread-like segments and produce the spores, and which spread onto the forest floor again, and of course the cycle starts again. And it's just looking good. There's so many different specimens. Look at that on that tree down there, looking amazing. I'm sure that's more than 2 meters high down there. And yeah, some more. Look at that. Yeah, take it back out. Now this is a brand new camera, so I've got to get used to it. We made the investment, we needed 2 cameras so that Salem can go off into the wild blue yonder, well green yonder really, and I can be a bit more sedate. But as soon as he runs out of battery, we will have to meet up and exchange batteries. But no, that's all good. Right, off to post number 3. Right, so I'm off heading towards finding post number 3. So let's see how I go at walking with the camera. Here we go. the tree fern collection, and number 3. So here we go. Let's have a look. Now this is rather cool. Nice canopy. And lots of tree ferns. Now this little clearing was formed in 1968. Now this was during the Wahine storm, that the storm was so great and it sunk the Wahine ferry. Several people died. It was a big part of Wellington history. Actually, I was born then. I was a baby. And my mother remembers having it was a huge storm. And we were at home and she was dreading the roof coming off the house. But we survived. So that's a good thing. Anyway, here's a collection of tree ferns. And it's looking so good. Plus there is some little bit of artwork in there, so I'll see if I can get through because it's really wet. It's been raining, and just look at those. Now those are very cool. Just love a bit of artwork in the forest, and these just look amazing. Those textures on there are brilliant. Just look at that. Wow. And it's a lovely stand of 3 of them. So yay. Now let's see. So we've got some panga here somewhere. I'll just go and check it out. So a panga is of course our national emblem, the silver fern. And you'll find that a lot of our sports people have the silver fern emblem on their uniforms, or even called variants of the fern in their team names. So I'll just see if I can find a good specimen. So here we have the silver fern, and to tell it's silver fern we have a look underneath, and it is silver or white. So I'm sure you recognise that. Looking good. And here's another one. So let's have a look. There we go. Wonderful. There's quite a few here. Just loving the fernery. Wow. So the name of the silver fern is a panga, and panga logs are used quite extensively in gardening because they make a brilliant living wall or hedge or anything, and it will keep growing if well looked after. As you see, it looks just amazing. And yeah, brilliant in gardens. So I am off to find post number 4. So bear with me while I go and take a look. Okay, I'll see you soon. Here I am coming up to a magnificent species of Nikau palm, and that is at post number 4 of this treasure trail. See, post number 4. Anyway, this rather magnificent species or specimen of Nikau palm looks to be quite old. Now see these rings on here. Now these are from where the fronds have come off, but unfortunately you cannot tell the age of a tree from these rings because they can have several fronds come off every year. It's so cool. It's so cool. Anyway, so it is quite an old specimen because it takes about 15 years of growth before it even gets a bit of a trunk. So this is old, and it can take up to 200 years to reach a height of 20 meters. Now there's a lot of babies around here, so even that one over there would be a few years old. We've got a few specimens at home which are so tiny in comparison, like even here, and there was a birdie but it flew off. So these are just little ones, and there's a pathway just before, because of course I get lost, I don't stick to the path, and found a whole lot of Nikau palms, just juveniles, but are very impressive to have in your garden, which I want some. But we've got a few, but it's taking years for them to get to this size. But what else about them? So the Nikau grow throughout New Zealand, including the Chatham Islands, and a true palm, and they are excuse me, I'm getting tongue-tied here, but anyway, they are the furthest most palm that grows away from the equator than any other palm in the southern hemisphere. So pretty cool. So they are a true palm. They're not a fake one, which many people grow cabbage trees because they look like palms, but these are the real thing. Nikau palms. Right. Oh, I see post number 5. I actually saw post number 6 before, but I think I better do post number 5 first. So at post number 5 we have this wonderful big monster with incredibly big shiny leaves. They actually look a lot bigger in person than on this camera. Now this tree is called a Pinnatia bailesiana. Now this species came very close to extinction when there was only one tree left in the world, and it was a female, luckily, growing on the Three Kings Islands, which is near the northern tip of the North Island. Now this tree here was actually grown from a cutting taken from that tree. Now this is impressive to come from a tiny cutting from the only tree left. Now when this tree flowered, it was pollinated by a relative of it called a Kai Kamako, which is a Pinnatia corymbosa, okay, which grows naturally in our forests, and especially here in Otari-Wilton's reserve, and it has a lot smaller leaves. Now the seeds germinated, and there are 5 of the tall hybrid trees at post 7, so we'll get to see those then. Now with the leaves will probably be, yeah, it should be half the size of this, but bigger than the other tree that it was hybridized with. Whoa, can't wait to see that. Anyway, here is number 6. Okay, now what have we got here? A henau. Now it's a Elacarpus dentatus. Woo, that's cool. Henau. Alrighty. Now, this, wow, it is full of perching plants or epiphytes. So, wow. And which is quite amazing because New Zealand is a subtropical climate, and this is more conducive with tropical plants, as you will find in tropical rainforests and that, masses of epiphytes. And this is just so cool. I don't know if you'll be able to see them properly, but the silhouettes look pretty good anyway. Let's have a look. So these, I'll go back a bit so we can try and see. Nope. Let's have a look. That's a bit better. Now, these plants up there, they've got really long leaves, sort of resembles flax, and they are called kaha. Now they fill up with water, become heavy, and often fall down. So yep, another widowmaker. I'm sure Salem, the gardener gone wild, has talked about that before. So be careful when seeing any on the ground, and there are not any ground on the ground, so because that just means if you see them on the ground, there will probably be more falling, and of course they can do some damage, also killing people, thus called the widow maker. Right, let's on to number 7. I think it's a bit to go, so I'll see you there. And on my way trying to find post number 7, we come to a northern rata. Now I've got to stop here and have a good view of this. This is just amazing. Look at that, and see that lovely gap there, and I'll come round so we can get a good look, and you can see right through it. Now, as you might know, the northern rata, or Metrosidius robusta, began life perched up in a tree, and most likely a remo, especially in this little forest. Woohoo, very cool, and I just love that. And of course it sends the roots down and it grows encasing the remu or other tree, but yeah, we'll just say remu, and it makes together, and the stems, the shoots, fuse together making a pseudo trunk. So this is a big pseudo trunk, and then the remu inside it dies and it leaves a very cool rata tree, and it is very cool. Now many years ago, about at least 14 years ago, and even earlier maybe, anyway, the gardener gone wild used to fit in this tree hollow very well, and I will have to find some photos, I've got them somewhere, of him doing just that as a very little 6-year-old and older. Now I've been coming to see this tree for many years, as I used to just live up the road and used to come down here many times a week, because it is really cool here in Otari-Wilton's Park. Right, I am going to find number 7, and I'm probably way on the wrong path, but I will see you there because I'm going to have to scope it out. Typical. Here we are at post number 7, and yes, I did detour off and went the wrong way, which is incredibly typical of me because there's too much to see, and well, it is all very cool to see. Now this is the hybrid of the Pennantia tree. It's a Pennantia Baileysiana cross Pennantia corymbosa. Now these leaves are way smaller. These are very small. Like the other ones, I'd say are 3 times the size. And it's just looking rather cool. Yay tree conservation. This is when it works. There is nothing wrong with hybridizing trees. As far as I'm concerned, the more trees the better, and if it can keep some of the gene pool of the originals, especially if they are endangered, well, having just one plant and then hybridizing it with lots of others, well, one species, it just gives more variety and keeps the genes here for future generations. Very cool. To get to post 8, I have to go right to the Alpine Garden. So here we go. Not looking alpine-y yet, but it will. And it's not a real alpine garden because it has been made to look like one, but it looks pretty authentic as it is coming into view. Oh, and I see a post. Yay! Very nice. Look at that. Wahoo. Right, number 8. And tussock plants. And oh, hebe. This is a hebe. There are lots of hebes about, and I'll have to find them. Ah, there are more over there, but I'm just looking. Oh, there's Spaniards around, I'm sure. And wow, that's cool. That is very cool. Spiky. Oh yeah, it's spiky. And of course the grasses. And more spiky stuff. Ah, no. More hebes. And more spiky stuff. Yay. And hebes. Grasses. And wow, this is cool. Yay, stepping stones. And flowy water. Ooh. And foamy water. And ferns. And more hebes. Gotta love a hebe. So that's a hebe. And a hebe. Hebes. Lovely. So our lovely Spaniards, we think, are nice and spiky like that, so that the moa, our extinct big bird, wouldn't eat them because they grazed on low and even lower canopy trees, and they definitely wouldn't like to eat that. Really? Would you?
Okay, so Productions wasn't sure which of these 2 plants was a Spaniard. On one hand, we've got this tall shrubby thing that is very prickly and is currently pricking my arm. And on the other hand, we have this prickly thing over here.
But that's not as prickly as the big prickle.
But no, this one is more prickly than the big prickle, because although the prickles are only on the end, they are incredibly sharp. Has Productions touched them? Well, I have. And I know that this is the true Spaniard. That is the true Spaniard. It is a member of the carrot family. It's a Spaniard, otherwise known as speargrass, and I can't remember any Maori or Latin at this current moment. So we will go with Spaniard, and you can actually rip it up and eat the roots. They taste vaguely carrot-like, and gold miners back in gold mining times of, you know, early colonisation out in the South Island, those harsh areas, would, if they were desperate, rip those up and subsist off those roots alone sometimes. So yep, so that's a Spaniard. This is, I don't know what this is, but this is cool, and it's prickly, and it's a shrub. So that's what I have to say about Spaniards, and I love Spaniards. They are cool. So that is it. Bye.
So now I've got to walk out through the alpine garden and past the hebbies and more hebbies and off past the fernery where I started and find post number 9. So I'll see you there. Here we are at post number 9, and next to it is this untidy looking specimen, which is a juvenile form of our native conifer, the matai. Now this just reminds me of an untidy teenager, which basically it is. Now it will tidy itself up when it becomes a larger tree, when it grows up. Now it's probably developed like this so in defense of the mower, so that it looks just very unappealing, unappetizing to a mower. It will protect its trunk as well, and just like how the Spaniard and of course the lancewood has defended itself against the browsing and perusing of the mower. Yeah, it's a shame that there aren't any mower left, but they were killed out, made extinct, probably by overhunting and other factors. So this is surrounded by other conifers as well, and I don't know if I can get that because the sun is in the way, but there's conifers around here which were planted about 90 years ago. So looking good. Right, I'm off to find post number 10. So I have to go through here and past the treehouse or information centre. So see you on the other side. Now I've just passed the information centre and walking through the canopy of trees on the walkway. So we're quite a distance up and it's looking very good. Pretty dark because it isn't a very bright day today. It's cloudy, but hey, at least it's not raining at the moment, so we can go exploring. Now on our way, let's have a look at some of this supplejack. Now look at those vines. Woohoo! They are growing everywhere. Now if you were lost in the bush and you didn't have a water source with you, no drink water or anything, supplejack are incredibly good to get a water source from. So you just cut into the supplejack and it will start releasing a lot of water so you can drink and not get dehydrated and die. So a good thing to remember. So we are at post number 10 now, and as you can see, this is a lovely view of the forest canopy. It's just wow. It is so wonderful having this right here in Wellington, with the city centre just over the hill. And this, we see some more supplejacks, and they are growing on some rewa trees, and these vines just look totally in place with everything else. It is gorgeous. So remember, if you are needing water and you're in survival mode, lost in the forest, you can use some supplejack for your water source. And we are now off to number 11. Now, as we leave the walkway, we come up to some juvenile lancewoods. There are these ones and these smaller ones. Now, these are juveniles of the common lancewood and the fierce lancewood, and I would have no clue which is which. And as you can see, the leaves make it very unappetizing for a mower to eat. Now I must get on to post 12 because I am running out of memory, so bear with me. Okay, I found post number 12. Now this is the rocky rock garden, which was created in the late 1940s by the Otari curator Walter Brockie, who collected the rocks from the Wellington coast, and some of these bigger boulders weigh 4 tons, and it is home to a variety of very cool plants from New Zealand's exposed rocky landscapes. And these are some of our hardiest plants and survive in the most extreme environments: alpine mountaintops, tussock hillsides and wild coastlines. And it is of course next to the lawn. And off to number 13, and this is the grave of Dr. Leonard Cochrane and his wife. Now, Dr. Cochrane was an early self-taught botanist who promoted the idea of a New Zealand botanic garden for native plants. So that's pretty cool. I didn't know that. This is actually a gravesite, and the building over there is his old house. And wow, very interesting. And we sort of get back to where we started at the beginning. This is where I said hello, and this is where I will say goodbye, because Salem is probably way up there and I'm way down here, and I'm just filling in time at the moment. Anyhow, I hope you enjoyed this more sedate little exploratory video, and I hope to do another one soon. But this has been a lot of fun. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time when I do one of these, or else you hear my name said. So this is goodbye from Productions and Gardener Gone Wild. So stay wild about gardening, and like and subscribe, and I'll see you soon. Okay, bye bye.